Thank you so much for staying with us. Don't forget, this is New Day on Signature Television, and we promise to keep you inspired and informed. Well, we'll have a big wig in the station. She's a writer, she's a pianist, and she's also a dancer. She's Jannette, and a photographer. She's a whole new embodiment of the arts. She's Jannette Housman. She's a writer. She's going to talk to us about writers and shaping of worldview, talking about cultural diplomacy. And she has a book which we're going to talk about. Good morning, Jannette. Thank you for joining us this morning.
Thank you so much. Good morning.
You look so colorful.
Thank you
your
so
hair,
much.
your clothes, the beads.
Thank you.
You look fabulous.
Thank you so much.
So tell us, you're a writer.
I'm a photographer.
Tell us
basically.
all that you are.
I am a documentary photographer. Actually, I've been taking photographs since the late 80s. Self-taught when I was in Bahia.
Self-taught.
The first time in Bahia, Brazil. And I took photographs in the street with the people. I was...
How old were you?
Then I'm going to give up.
Okay.
I was younger at the time.
Obviously.
Actually. This is even the same time I was living in New York, and I was involved with Brazilian dance company. Also did Brazilian dance in New York. I lived in New York almost 20 years, and I started to take photographs. I had contacts there in Brazil. I did an intercultural exchange there with the dancer. Stayed in my apartment, and I went to stay with her family. And this is what the book is about, actually. I'm more of a writer. I write text. There are texts written about me in this book. It's a photography book. I'm a photographer, documentalist, documentary photographer, to educate people, to inspire people about the way that I travel, integrate where I go, where it's all about the African influence in all the different areas in which I've lived, and I still live in an African-based area in Veracruz in Mexico. And actually, it's to inspire people on a global level here in Nigeria and around different areas of the world. I just demonstrated in my book. We had a very, very successful presentation with my editor and someone else that worked with me on the book, Olga and Javier. And we had a very good turnout with my book.
Great.
Actually, the book embellishes and elaborates on the Mexican community. There are communities where there are African population people don't know about. And I'm very much of an activist in this area, people to really know about these particular areas, and a lot of...
Tell us about that
there
community.
Actually, I found out about it back over maybe in the almost 1990s. I went to Oaxaca. This is the coastal area, the Costa Chica, where I've gone to also gatherings where people have been invited from all over the world, where they have African influence around the world. And actually, it's really very interesting because people don't know about these communities in Mexico. They think very stereotypically about only indigenous in Mexico. But actually in Mexico, there are these African communities, and it's a history.
At what point did they settle in Mexico?
In the 16th century. In the 16th century, they came over as slavery from different parts of the Congo, speaking Bantu from different parts of Africa. Sierra Leone, speaking but from the Congo, from many parts of Africa, and they spoke the original language, and then eventually they integrated and started to speak Spanish. This is only one segment of the book, because in the book, you live with the people when you go to these encounters, and they have cultural events and talk about identity, talk about women identity, who are we really, because we're also Afro-Mexicanos. In my book, I also have Cuba. I've gone to Cuba for more than 20 years.
But then you live in Mexico.
I'm based in Mexico. I'm based in Mexico more than 20 years.
Is
even
there a
though
special attraction in Mexico for you?
There is. I used to live in New York.
I know,
used to live
I know.
in New York, and I still go back because I've been very involved with that. I was very involved with the Nigerian community even when I was in New York, and very multicultural. There's rumba from Cuba. There's a lot of African influence in New York. I've been involved with a friend who has an organization. I've collaborated with her. I have friends for many, many, many years. I've seen Fela, I've seen Sunny Ade. We're talking about the late 80s. In Cuba, I've been going, I stayed with a Santera, which is spiritual, connected with the Yoruba.
Okay.
She's, you say like a priest, someone who's
Priestess.
very spiritual. She's they call it in Spanish a Santera. And I had lived with the community there, and that's what the book is all about. I've integrated where I go. I'm not a tourist. I integrate. You learn about that because you don't just pass through. You integrate, and I was involved. I've made some very deep connections with other artists, with other people that are very spiritual. In Cuba, there's a very strong Yoruba influence in Cuba.
No.
So I've been involved. I've been invited to collaborate in festivals. There's a festival called Afro Palabra, and I collaborate. I was invited by her name is Xiomara Calderon, who had a group of artists, and then we did different performances together. And I worked with. In the festival for Palabra with music, with women, and different music from Brazil, from Cuba, and I also had photography exhibitions there.
Interesting.
At the museum.
Interesting. Now,
in Cuba.
How exactly has your work, be it as a photographer, musician, dancer, writer, how has it impacted some of these communities that you've mentioned, Nigeria inclusively?
How was it impacted? It's impacted very, very strongly in my life. This is like a story of my life that will inspire others. Actually, it's not just I write a book and that's it. There's a purpose. There's a mission, and if I can inspire, either it be women, young people at whatever age, to travel in that way without a fear of integrating, and about whether you talk about you're lighter skinned, or you're this, you're that, the stereotypes people think about people if they don't travel. So I think it's very important to open your mind, open your horizons about and integrate these all of the countries that are the Caribbean countries, Latin American countries. Starts from Brazil back in the 80s, then it goes to, Mexico with their African communities, Cuba, okay? You can see me with most of the photographs I took, but you can see some of the photographs.
I was going to
also
ask
me
you,
with the music
this is
and,
the book,
living with the people.
right? This is the book, and it has a black lady, an African lady. Right? It goes to, it's more like a testament of your, affiliations with the, with Africa. Tell me, why Africa and why North South America? Why Africa? Why South America?
Well, South America, you also say in the book, Brazil, which is Latin America.
Brazil,
South America,
you mentioned
Colombia,
Colombia.
I would say Colombia last year, which is Latin America, but with African influence. I feel connected. I think I wrote a text
Do you have
about
any
myself.
African ancestry or connection?
I think I do. Someone recently was saying you need to get your DNA done.
Have you done that?
I haven't done it yet, but I feel we do have in the family, on the father's side, because they moved to, my father was a jazz musician.
Okay.
And actually, I felt that music very, very strong. And as a connection, I sing gospel music, I play gospel music. Actually, it's part of me. But I look at my grandma, which is not alive any longer.
Okay.
And it was very interesting because they said we're nomadic people, we're Hebrew people. But the thing, I looked at her and you see that mixture, the Caribbean background also with her. All her features,
facial features.
everything, and I'm convinced they moved to Detroit, where all the black culture is. So I'm very convinced on that there is black, that there is Caribbean black in my own family, even though people look at me and they said, how could that be possible?
But it is possible.
Yes, of course it is possible. I looked at, so there were 2 people yesterday that are actually Nigerian. The mother was from England and the father was from Nigeria. It's a beautiful combination.
Absolutely.
We have to embrace that.
Absolutely.
We have to embrace who we are, our ancestors, and have that dignity. I think being here in Nigeria and sharing my book, I have a presentation on the 26th of this month, February, in at Slang Global.
Slang Global.
I'm inviting people to come and be there.
That's right.
I have some books that I'll be selling, but at the same time I'll be talking about my book, and I think it would be very just very impactful for people to be there and sharing that experience with me.
So this is your 3rd time in Nigeria. This is your 3rd time,
it's
third visit.
My 3rd time. Actually, my first. There are photographs at the end of the book, which ties everything together to Nigeria. And I went to a village. And that was the best way. I was brought. A friend of mine. She's a poet, Shana Marin. She brought me to her village, and I know her. Actually, and they were very receptive to me. I didn't feel anything like an outsider. I came in, I took photographs, and those photographs, along with poetry, from my friend wrote a poetry about women's empowerment and about humanity, about human values, and those photographs at the end of my book it's called Visions of the African Soul in English, this book, and Rostros de la Negritud in Spanish. And it's in both languages, so people can understand
both ways.
Exactly.
I see pictures of Brazilian martial arts.
It's capoeira. That's
capoeira.
What it's called.
Tell us about that.
The capoeira is a martial art. It's an art form that comes from Angola. It comes from Angola, Africa. And there is a music that goes along with it. It's actually what it is. The capoeira. It's played with a barambao, and it's like a dance form combining with the martial art. And you see it. It's very historical. And actually, you see it, and there are songs that go along with that. Paranaway, Paranaway, Parana, Paranaway, Paranaway.
Interesting.
And you see children dancing, but you see even women doing this martial art. It's dance form. It's not just martial arts, but it has very a lot of historical views, reasons for why it's
if I hadn't met you or seen some of your pictures, I would never have known this martial art originating from the Angola.
That's right.
Now, what are strategies to export some of these arts to other parts of the world? There's just so much you can do, and you're doing an enormous work, but is there a grand strategy to export some of these arts, be it in songs, be it in martial arts, outside, globally?
I think it is happening where I live. There's a very strong African influence where I am in Veracruz. There are places called Yanga where I am, Mandinga. They have African names very close to where I reside. I moved there because I actually wanted to stay in Cuba, where they have a strong influence from Nigeria. I'm very connected with the Orishas also.
Orishas from the West.
Nigeria. I've gotten also, not initiated, but I am very connected with.
Did you meet the priestess of Orisha? Did you ever meet the priestess of Orisha?
From here?
Yes.
Not yet.
Not yet. Oh, yes. Well, she's white.
Okay.
She was white. She's late. She was white. She's late. No, she doesn't live in Enugu. She lives in the West. I think Osun State.
Okay.
Orisha. You mentioned Orisha. That was why the priestess. She was white.
Okay.
Yes. So,
anyways, I've danced. There are a lot. But for many years, I've been connected with that. That comes from also, you see that in Brazil also, the candomblé. And
have you had any interface with maybe tertiary institutions to introduce some of your work? Tell us about that.
I've been involved many years when I lived in New York, the Caribbean Cultural Center in New York. So when I go back to New York, I will find a way to present at the Caribbean Cultural Center, and there are a lot of events on Cuba, on Africa, and so I will definitely get an opportunity to present my work at the Caribbean Cultural Center, because I lived in New York many years, and I've been affiliated with that organization for many years. Also in Cuba is the Casa de Africa. I've been connected with that when I will do presentations in Cuba also.
All right. What of Nollywood? Nollywood, our film industry in Nigeria. Has there been any collaborations between you and Nollywood?
Not yet.
Don't you think it's
Sure.
something
I
you
would like
should
to be,
explore?
I would like to be informed about this.
Because you said you're a documentary writer too.
a documentary photographer.
Documentary photographer. Great. Okay, so tell us about you being a pianist. How did that start
I've
for
started
you?
actually. I from a very early age. I had a just very brief contacts with my father, and he was a jazz musician. I heard cha-cha-cha, jazz from a very early age. I started playing piano when I was 6 years old. So I started to dance when I was 7 years old. So I started to play, take classes, individual classes that I studied. And then eventually I went to Berklee College in Boston to study jazz. I studied arranging and composition, and I've been a performer for many years also. And actually one of the last concerts that I did was a combination of music from all over for peace in the world. So actually I combine music from Mexico, music from gospel, Hebrew music, Cuban music. I sang a song about the Orishas, Brazilian music, but with song. People was interactive with the people. I love that. I'll do some of that when I'm here also. And it was beautiful because there was an interaction with people sang with me, and music is very healing. So I've been involved with jazz. With the jazz, I embrace, I play and sing Cuban music and Brazilian music. I love it.
Tell us about your experiences in Haiti. I see.
Oh my God.
República Dominicana.
Dominicana also. I went to the Dominican Republic before Haiti, but actually, in New York, I knew many people from community from Dominican Republic, from Puerto Rico, from all over. So, but I went on my own to the Dominican Republic. That was maybe in the late 80s, no, maybe 90s. Anyways, I lived with the people. I didn't have a place to stay because when people set up how they travel and so forth, they need to know everything. And I met someone just on a little, I call like a little transportation, or like something like similar to Kike. And I said, well, I'm here. I'm looking. Could I stay with you and your family? And that's how I took the photographs. So a lot of the photographs were taken that way, integrating with the people. And you see a lot of people from the book that I've seen them maybe taking photographs like that when I took in the street with the people, because I have that kind of way to relate to the people, and people that they have very strong relationships with, and it's a story of my life and something special in me to tell the world about where there's African influence in all the places where I've been. Haiti, you're asking about Haiti. I went with a friend who sings, a singer. She has a wonderful singer from Haiti.
Okay.
And I went with her, and I stayed with her family because right now what's been going on in Haiti, you can't really just go completely on your own. So I was able to stay. It was very brief. It was under 2, but it was very wonderful experience. And my friend sang. My friend, the family. Was very wonderful, treated me part of the family. And then we went to the carnival in Haiti where I took most of these photographs.
Yes, very interesting photographs. I see women you know, smoking, I don't know what they call it.
A puro or cigar. You see
Cigar,
very
but this
long,
is
very,
bigger
very,
than
very
cigar.
big ones.
What's
That's
the
right.
story?
It's part of the culture. It's part of the culture.
For just
because
women?
I just those. Yeah, you see mostly women. I saw my grandfather smoked, but not a big one like
This
like,
is
like that.
big. This
but
is
you
huge.
see women in their attire also, which part of the culture and part of the spirituality, which attracts me. It's the spirituality, the music, the dance, the turbantes, what you see.
I see the turban.
The head ties
Yes,
that you see
yes.
in Nigeria,
Yes.
because you have a lot of that in Cuba with the Yoruba, a lot of the Yoruba influence.
Right.
Then you go into Santiago, you have a lot of the Caribbean, and maybe you even get some people that are Igbo, but you see feel a lot of the Yoruba influence.
There's a lot of African influence in Haiti. Now tell us about their women. What are they like? Because they look like powerful women because they brandish these huge cigars. Tell me about their women.
The women are very, very, very spiritual. A lot of them. I had a very, very, very wonderful relationship. My friend just made her transition a few years ago. We're very close. She had an all-women's group playing cajon, percussion and singing a lot of Yoruba music and rumba music. Her name was Shabella, and very, 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 very spiritual. Very spiritual, like women, the warriors.
Yes. No, you could see from the pictures.
Very spiritual. Very. I've gone to ceremonies also, and you see people go into trance, and with all the music that they sing, all about with the orishas, and I've been involved with that for quite some time.
You know, we're told that there's a lot of voodoo going on in Haiti. Now you're going to clear the air right now because you've been there first class. Tell us, are there voodoo practices in Haiti, and how exactly does it actually play out?
I wanted to be taken to meet a voodoo priestess. I actually went. You feel it because I saw the dance. I went to the carnival and all of that. But I want to get another kind of view, the same way you do in Cuba.
Absolutely.
The same way you experience that. But I would have liked to stay a little bit longer to really have experienced that, because I wanted to be actually taken to a voodoo priest, even to get some kind of a spiritual concept or meet him, but they said it was too far of a distance, so I wasn't able to do that. So they brought me to meet an anthropologist, actually, and we talked about voodoo and Haitian culture and all of that. Even though when I stayed with you call it a santera,
the priestess
in Cuba, and she had Haitian background, so it's all very interesting. Everything ties together in terms of the African ancestry and influence.
What about their carnivals?
Okay, in Haiti?
Yes. I see carnivals.
Yes, I went to the carnival. The second time I went twice, but I could go to a good place to take photographs and see, because every photograph that I took, even one of the photographs, you see a man with his tattoos. Yeah. It's like the same way I look at someone here, and he paints with all the different kind of it's symbolism that the same thing that he has on his body tattoos. And actually see the women and the way they danced, and the way the fruit on top of their head is all every dance is very is spiritual, very indicative to different kinds of dances that they do, and as part of the culture, the Haitian culture.
Yeah, go ahead, please.
Even though I was there briefly, you have carnival also in Cuba.
Okay.
And I went only to the carnival in Havana. But when Santiago is complete, I've never been to Santiago. I've been to Matanzas, I've been to Havana, but I've really integrated a lot with in Havana.
Great,
But I've
great.
also been to Matanzas because I did an exhibition, and we all went to, the second time I went to Matanzas, and it was really wonderful experience. They brought us to places where they danced rumba and actually placed a lot of historical importance also with the African
Great.
culture.
While we were discussing about your ancestry, you mentioned the Jewish influence. Tell us about that.
It's so interesting because I hear my friends say there's a lot of Christianity here.
Yes.
But she says something in her when she writes her messages. I see them in the internet, you know, shalom.
Shalom.
But I remember that as a child. Shalom means peace.
Peace. Shabbat
Shalom
shalom.
means peace, actually. So it's a language also that that is embraced here in Igbo land, in this culture. And I learned Hebrew music when I was very young, from my grandmother.
You sing Igbo songs?
My mother I sing songs from Hebrew songs.
Hebrew songs.
And all these songs, actually, they have a relation also. When I was in Cuba, I started to sing. I met someone from the Middle East. He said, you know, those songs have the same significance of unity, of the socialism. You know, I felt a lot of solidarity when I was there, when I was in Cuba. I lived there for periods of time, over many years. And all these songs have a way of working together. It's almost like the same way in Africa. We work together to build a better world, to fight against racism, to have a better world. We're more united as women, as human beings. I look for that. I hope that by having people read my book will be able to have that kind of an idea how to be
better human beings.
Better human beings, and look at the world in a different way. And not just for your skin could be a little bit lighter, but we're building a different kind of a sense of humanity in a global kind of way, about sharing this world in a different way, fighting racism, not so much prejudice in this world, coming together in another kind of way in this world to make a better humanity.
Wow, it's been.
So this world, this book has a strong message, and I hope that just by sharing, and thank you so much for inviting me to this program.
The pleasure is actually mine.
Yes.
It's been wonderful talking to you, and I wish I could have you here for the next one, but unfortunately we are running out of time. Yes. Now, you mentioned there's going to be a book launch.
That's right.
Please tell us.
Right. I would like people
in
to
details.
Be able to come,
in details.
I will be here.
Where is it happening?
Yes. It will be in 3:30 on Slang Global, which you probably can contact us to find out the address.
Okay.
Or I can send people information.
Okay.
And people can respond to you.
Okay.
And we can send the information. It will be this coming Wednesday.
Okay.
And if they want to purchase my book or just listen to the book reading and know more about the book, I welcome the community here to participate and share with me.
Absolutely. Visions of the African Soul. Rostros de la Negritude.
Right.
Did I get it right?
You did very well.
Thank you
Right.
Thank you so much, Jannette.
Thank you so
Housman.
much. That's right.
Guys, go get this book and make sure you are available at the book launch. Thank you so much, Jannette. Once again, it was a pleasure having you in the studio.
Thank you.
All right, so New Day continues right after this time out. Stay with us.
Signature TV. News in your pocket.